In the next game, they play great on defense, so Danny Hurley looking for his guys to put it all together against a great opponent.
And controlled by Marquette. Just the 13th all-time meeting between these two schools, and the first since 2009, with both programs ranked in the top 25. Good dish underneath. Omax Prosper puts it in for the first early bucket.
Yeah, Prosper's one of those guys that he flies under the radar a little bit, but great start for Marquette. You don't want to have to deal with the shot blocking inside.
Cole up top, averaging 16 a game. Sanogo fades, and it's brought down by Justin Lewis. Not just a tremendous scorer, he's also third in the Big East in rebounds. Marquette kicks it out. Connor Kolek, too strong off the mark and brought down by Tyrese Martin, who scored 25 points in the earlier meeting against the Golden Eagles. Battles, hangs, and hits.
In transition. This is where UConn is at their best in transition. That's what Shaka Smart told us today. You know, they get out in transition, and it makes it a little bit easier for them once they get into the half court. They get some confidence.
Shaka Smart, first season at the half foot on the clock. And Kolek to inbounds for Marquette. Orcel, the Maryland grad transfer, brings it across. A lot of new faces for this Marquette team. They've certainly started to gel, especially since the new year. Lewis. Kolek, long cross-court pass. And Queth is fouled. Good dish.
Great action.
Best assist man in the nation, Kolek.
It's great action here by Marquette. Swinging the ball, you draw some shot blockers, skip passes, so important from the wing to the corner, and then the big fella down the lane.
Now, Queth has struggled from the line, 55% on the season. He misses the first. Foul was on R.J. Cole. He's able to coach the next one through.
I love the full court press, soft press, makes UConn guards think about it. Anyone other than R.J. Cole is who Marquette has to try to make beat them.
Entry pass. No good, too strong. Sanogo battling for it. Boy, he's a dynamic player. He stays with it and gets two.
And that's what they do so well. Even when they miss, they go right back up and get their own very quickly. Offensive rebounding, you have to pay attention if you're Marquette. Find a body.
Now Sanogo, 8th in the conference in points, 2nd in rebounds.
Just great work right there. And I love that even though there's some contacts, the refs understand that that's a natural part of when you're battling down low. You could call a foul every time down the floor. You have an awesome crew doing this game tonight, which is what you want in a big game. Nathan Farrell, Jeff Clark, and John Gaffney, one of the best officials in college basketball to round out the crew.
Now Sanogo lacing it up for a teammate. You ever like a teammate that much, Donnie, to tie somebody's shoe?
I mean, no, they can tie their own shoe. We're all athletic and moving up at that time. Now I would need a teammate to tie my shoe. Today, I would definitely need a teammate. I definitely need you to tie my shoe, Goldie.
I'm here for you. Little struck Sanogo, another board, and Morcell strips it. And here comes Justin Lewis and Marquette. Lewis has been dynamite from distance recently. He's been especially hot as of late. 55% over his last 5 games, but off the mark that time. Floater, and it's good from Andre Jackson.
So when they're good in transition, I call that mindless basketball. You just don't have to think. You don't have to look over the shoulder to try to see what the coach is calling. Just use your natural abilities.
How about Omax Prosper dialing it in from distance? Ross for 13 points, 5 boards in the earlier meeting against Connecticut. The lob to Sanogo. Jackson with the feed. Sanogo can't finish. Well off the mark.
Nice hold up there. You don't have to force anything. Get into your stuff. Skip passes have been wonderful by Marquette.
Marcel off the heel. Lewis fighting for it. Keeps it alive. Queth almost gets his shoulder torn off. The jump ball. Sanogo right there. I don't want to get tangled up with those two. Possession arrow to UConn.
I like this substitution. Take Queth out, give him a little bit of a break. It's a tough battle. You got Gaffney down there. I'm sorry, Whaley and Sanogo. Those are two long, big boys that you have to battle with. You got to throw some bodies in it, guys. Shaka Smart understands that. Mix it up.
Greg Elliott, number 5 in yellow, checking in for the first time for Marquette. He's had a couple of big performances. Cole had the right idea, but it was about shin high to Sanogo, who stands nearly 6'10".
Yeah, those are some of my pet peeves of guards when they try to throw a bounce pass to a 6'11" guy's shins. It's just not acceptable, especially when you have him open. You got to throw it to where he can catch it and do something with it. Pass the ball to him.
Also Iguodoro's first touch. Backdoor pass. Two-hand finish. Justin Lewis, his first points. Little floater, too strong from Sanogo. Now they call Oso Ighodaro .0. He is such a fantastic ball handler. And despite his size, it's one of his great strengths. Ighodaro puts it on the deck, almost lost it.
Try to give him some help. Now on that shot
10. Lewis, front iron, just grazed it. Here comes Cole pushing. Cole full speed ahead. He splits all 4 off the window and good.
Wonderful defense leading to great offense at the other end. That's just a great job of jumping the ball. You see a guy pick his dribble up and then closing out when the shot clock is late. UConn playing their game right now. Justin Lewis, one of the special ones in all of college basketball. A little easy backdoor for their coaches. The other part I would mention about that first meeting, no Daryl Marcel, last year's Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year. And that's a difference because he can guard a couple positions. Those two that we showed you, R.J. Cole and also Tyrese Martin. See if he can be effective against them this time around.
It should be a major boost. Hard take, and Elliott didn't call the foul with Elliott's take, but rather a foul on the floor afterwards.
You know what happens when you help, when guys step up, there's another yellow jersey on the backside who goes up, and that's just like Polly just pushed Lewis just a little nudge while he was up in the air, enough to call.
Now the first on Tyler Polly. And a man down, that's Whaley, and it results in an easy deuce for Marquette. Lewis with 4.
That's the second time that that Whaley's gone down and grabbed at his shoe. I think he's got an ankle brace on. It looks like that. It might be just loosening up that shoe. He's not quite comfortable on that left foot.
Andre Jackson, one of the conference's best rebounders. Shot clock winding down. Wing 3 buried right in the nick of time. Not much time left on that clock as Pauly gets the triple.
Kolek right in his face. Nothing you can do. Put a hand up. Just don't foul a jump shooter. You can live with that.
Whaley with the block. Cam Jones, he hits. He is deadly from deep. He's a 40% three-point shooter.
Jones, one of those young people that Shaka Smart says is going to be a great, not good, but a great player. You could almost see it when he released it, Aaron. He had already started bouncing and starting to run back the other way. He knew it was good.
Called a strong take, but a clean block. Ighodaro there with the long wingspan. Last touch by UConn.
Just take a look. Lewis, heads up play. Jones, and he's already bouncing, heading down the other way.
Kolek brings it across for Marquette. He's the Big East assist leader. In fact, he's tied for 10th in the nation in assists. Figueroa contested off the window. Well, Sanogo right there in his way.
But that's what you have to do against Sanogo. You know, you have to keep him engaged, meaning make him defend. You may pick up a couple of quick ones against him because he's really good at this end.
That's on the floor. Now, Sanogo's had some monster performances this year. 30 points earlier against Auburn. Now the #1 team of the country. Double-double against Michigan State.
Well, he's a terrific player, and the UConn guards understand to get him involved as early as possible in the game. If you're in the half court, you know, if you're in transition, you got to take your spots, run the lanes. But once you get stuck in that half court and the defense gets back, that's the guy you have to find, Sanogo.
Now they get into Sanogo at 360. Boy, he's had some bunnies he hasn't been able to put through. Meanwhile, you can count it, Tyrese Martin.
Tyrese Martin does a great job of just staying engaged. Look at him, he's working his way in. Got away with a little shove. They didn't call it, but if they don't call it, there's no foul. Again, this team, they know how to offensive rebound. They know how to read the rim. They read the bodies. They nudge you. They're strong. Great instincts on the offensive glass, UConn.
3-point play. It's 5 now for Tyrese Martin. UConn by 1. Orcel right off the rim, almost a little bit beneath the rim. Transition. 3, put up, stroke through. It's another from the wing for the Huskies.
Well, we've seen UConn get it done in transition at the rim. They've been scoring in the paint, 8 of their 17 points in there, and then knocking down a couple of threes. Really a complete game for the Huskies right now. Love these kick-aheads. Yeah, look ahead, find your guy, no one closes out, you got to let it go. And you see Danny Hurley's excited about Hawkins' future as well. The young fella can really go.
Elliott pivoting. Figueroa.
There's just too much passing in there, and that's what happens when you have Sanogo who can block some shots.
Figueroa tried to save it, but out of bounds.
Sanogo makes you think. Even when he's not changing shots or blocking shots, you're thinking about where he is on the floor. So it made Elliott, instead of taking a little lefty half a hook from about 3 feet, he passes it to a teammate that didn't really have anywhere to go. It's a Sanogo effect.
Figueroa checks out Queth. Checks back on the floor, one of the starters for Marquette. Stride, long levers, and it's put back and through.
That's just poor on-ball defense on the perimeter. Allowed the layup, and then Queth steps up. That leaves Sanogo open enough just to get a tip in, and UConn's crowd is into it right now.
Queth. Trying to bring it back up top. Prosper spin cycle and count it. 3-point play opportunity coming up for Marquette. Timeout on the floor.
Always seem to understand how to make those adjustments.
Now Prosper's got a chance to cap off a 3-point play. And he does just that. He is half of Marquette's 16 points early.
And this is a situation for Marquette to try to win this round. And in basketball, what we would call the first half would be 5 rounds, 4-minute rounds. You win each 4 minutes, and then you assess where you are from there. I'm sure Shaka Smart's telling his guys that.
Hawkins denied after the air ball. And Jones trying to get a little body control there as he went diving back for it. It's out of bounds.
That's why you tell your guys to grab it with two hands if you can. Now, I know if you're off balance, you're just trying to keep it alive and keep it in, but it's so important for players to understand. Grab it with two hands. It's easier to control.
Shot clock is reset. Oh, no, it's not. I take it back. It was put up to 30, and now with the seconds dwindling, Sanogo is able to find two.
Uses that pivot so nice. Can't stand him up. You got to get back, give him a little bit of space, and go contest it. He uses the pivots to his advantage.
Jones was shooting that one like there was no time left. Put back strong. Negadoro.
Tell you, I loved the conversation we had with Shaka Smart earlier today. He talked about what UConn means to him in terms of it being, he said Daryl Morcell's a UConn type player. He's tough, scrappy, will fight you. It's going to be physical. This Marquette team is showing that right now. I mean, they are not backing down. They're tough inside. They're being physical.
Thrown away. Morcell back on the floor has it. And he's fouled. Max Prosper with 10 points here in the first half.
Yeah. Maxence Prosper doing a great job of kind of beating UConn at their own game. You know, they're so good and so big, UConn, and they collapse you and they want to help one another. And sometimes you can use that to your advantage if you're the opponent. You see help, two guys, go to that opposite side, try to get a putback.
Morcell hits the first.
Aaron, this is the game we wanted, though. I mean, it just competitive February basketball. Both teams fighting for that third spot in the Big East.
5 lead changes already. Tied 4 times. As we're under 10 minutes to play in the first half. Oh, thinking about it. Under 10 on the shot clock. Hawkins and Morcell gets his hand in there. Jump ball.
Wow.
And a possession arrow to Marquette.
Look, I mean, this is what he does. This is, we talked about it last year's Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year. That's not going to be a foul. He's going in to get it. And it was a good whistle because it was quick enough. If that whistle was a split second later, it may have been called a foul.
Prosper cut off baseline. Bullock driving left hand and the finish.
That's awesome. Tyler Kolek just has great feel. And by the way, it has 40 family members at this game tonight. So I'm sure he's ready to show up for his teammates.
A layup now the 5th time these two teams have been tied, even at 21. Martin runner. Prosper cut off by Jackson. Lost it. Good defense by Andre Jackson. And now Martin.
And that's what UConn does. They close you off so quickly because of their length. You think you have a seam, and then someone shows up to pick your pocket.
Justin Lewis, conference's 4th leading scorer, just 4 points here in the first half. Off the front part of the rim. Hawkins transition triple.
Wow. How about that?
Number 18 Marquette. And the Huskies right now shooting 50% in the first half. Give and go. And a foul as Iguodaro is on his way to the rack.
It's a nice play out of that timeout. You know, it's a bang-bang play. Pass, cut, and then go strong. You can't second guess against a good shot blocking team. And, you know, the times Marquette has done that, they've gotten that shot changed or they've hesitated and not gotten off a clean shot. That play there, you attack, you're rewarded with a couple of free throws.
Iguodaro hits the first. Pauly checks back on. Now, UConn has not enjoyed seeing their opponents go to the free throw line recently. Last two games for the Huskies, Creighton and Villanova, they've combined to go 29 for 31 from the stripe. So they will gladly take that most recent miss. Cole trying to weave. Nifty pass. Sanogo off the glass.
They keep the pressure on you because R.J. Cole is so good with the ball. You have to pay attention to where Sanogo is. If you don't, he'll find him.
In transition. Pauly.
Wow.
That's his second. Morcell jump stop fades. That's a tough shot that he buries.
I love that UConn is not hesitating to shoot the ball. At times, they're a little hesitant if it's not in the flow of what they do offensively. A lot of looking over at the shoulder at their coach at times, trying to figure out what play to run. There's no hesitation for the Huskies so far in this first half.
Foul away from the ball.
So take a look, Aaron. When you're helping, now two guys are engaged in trying to stop R.J. Cole. That leaves Sanogo wide open down low, and you got to get on Pauly. That's 6'9". You got to cover to him, get to him early, make him put it on the floor. If not, that jumper's sweet from out there.
Cole, he wants three, and he knocks it down.
Well, this is just what the doctor ordered for UConn. Getting open shots. Marquette a little late on their closeouts. Confidence.
Morcell trying to answer. And now Martin sprints it across. Sanogo. Marquette's got to use another timeout. 80%. First time they've done that since joining the Big East back in 05 and 06.
Yeah, you're right, Aaron. Yeah, they've held opponents to 37% their last 9 games. The last team to shoot over 44% was UConn. And here they go again.
Kolek misses. And that was in late December. Cole on the receiving end of that long skip pass. Foul.
And Marquette just has to weather the storm right now. The problem is they're getting beat in the paint and transition, and in the half court they're getting beat from behind the arc. So you got to just take one thing and say we're stopping that, and then we'll defend from there. But UConn really doing a nice job. Look at the screen there. Cole misses, but that's a wonderful out of bounds play. Just a little short.
Justin Lewis gets the rebound. You figure he is somebody that has to start to come alive a little bit for Marquette, one of the top scorers of the Big East. West looking back door, instead into the hands of Lewis. And it's an offensive foul.
A little hook there on Justin Lewis, and the problem that they're having is that Queth needs to be in the paint. And if he's in the paint, Sanogo's there to help. So there really is no spacing for Justin Lewis to kind of go to work inside of the arc. And, you know, Shaka Smart right now hoping that his Stud doesn't start just shooting threes. That's what happens to players when they can't get their game going from a comfortable area. They'll start shooting some threes, but they need to do a better job of just trying to free him up on the inside and get Queth away.
Sanogo spins on Queth, cuts him off. Left hand, and Sanogo with a dozen here in the first half.
Yeah, the way you have to defend the post, you can't put an arm or a hand in a guy's back. There's no way. I mean, it's almost impossible to stop Sanogo.
Now Queth able to recover this somehow into the corner. Greg Elliott, and Elliott knocks it down. So much needed life for Marquette.
Now, Marquette's never going to have an issue at that end scoring the ball. They had great three-point shooters who do a wonderful job from, outside the arc. But they need to start at this end of the floor. Get some stops, got to communicate better. They just seem like a step slow this first half.
Cole gives it up to Jackson, and the lob is too far behind the fingertips of Sanogo. Cole lobs. Queth comes down and puts it back through.
It's a really nice job. He dragged Sanogo with him. Sanogo thought it was going to be another left-handed layup by Kolek. He throws it up for Queth. Terrific field, nice read, and finish by Queth.
Marquette cuts it to single digits. Sanogo continues to have a monster first half.
And the issue right now is he's just catching it too close for Marquette. If he has a foot in the paint and catches it, it's over, especially the night that he's having. And Marquette trying to weather the storm. They're not going anywhere. Still got wherever he wants, and that's where he's got 14 points, and he's only missed, I think he's 7 of 12 with 6 rebounds, having a night already.
He's been a monster. Stevie Mitchell on the floor for the first time for Marquette. Number 4 in yellow. Lewis.
There's that three we talked about, Aaron. That's what happens. You start to search a little bit. Can't get anything inside, so start to shoot some threes on the outside. That one was falling away front rim.
Shot clock winding down and thrown away.
And really one of the first mistakes for UConn. There was one other one tried to throw. It was Jackson actually threw a lob to Sanogo, couldn't get it. But one of the few mistakes UConn has made in this first half, and Marquette's going to have to try to figure out this last 2.5 how to put that together. A defensive stop, now pay it off at the other end.
Elliott baseline. Sanogo cuts him off, but Elliott's able to hang and finish.
And really smart play. A lot of times you see guys, smaller guys, go in and they make the priority the contact and not the basket. Well, Elliott said, I'm going to get both, but kept his eyes on the basket for the finish.
Cole hanging.
Man.
Cole.
So good, especially going left. Goes left, has that soft touch off the glass, knows how to contort his body.
Elliott's feeling it. Hey, he's had some big performances this year. Had an eye-opening effort against UCLA, 22 points. He knocked down 6 triples in that contest. He's buried a couple here in the first half as we're under 90 seconds. Cole is denied. David Joplin comes flying in out of nowhere.
Aaron, there was a small thing there, and again, Lewis with another 3, but a small thing. Justin Lewis, they're small right now, Marquette, but Justin Lewis puts his forearm in the back of Sanogo. Queth was guarding him with his body. You just can't guard him the way Queth was. Look at the forearm. Gives you a chance to now move, and that's been the difference.
Martin cleans it up on the offensive glass. This is an elite level offensive rebounding team, second in the nation, the Huskies.
And Tyrese Martin, a huge part of that, just knows how to read it on the weak side.
Under a minute. Elliott, and they call a foul. Was almost on his way to a travel, but a foul call with just under 35 seconds to play in the first half. Overall, highest ranked squad in the Big East, and then Marquette and UConn right behind those two. Greg Elliott at the line. And then he hits the first.
Hey, it's all about Marquette weathering the storm. You're on the road. This is what happens when you're playing against really good teams. Now, for UConn, the focus has to continue to be there. Sometimes you don't want a halftime because you're so hot. They're shooting 58%, 63 from three. You're like, no, let's just keep playing. But you got to come back out of the locker room with that same focus for the second half for UConn.
10 points off the bench for Marquette from Elliott. Under 30 seconds. About a 4-second differential. Shot clock winding down. Hawkins pulls up from the elbow. Hawkins hits. Ten-point lead for the Huskies going into halftime.
Look, we've seen a lot of UConn games this season. This, to me, is the pressure off of the guy that most people, most teams, most coaches put pressure on to guard, and that's R.J. Cole. Play like that, everyone can be involved, and it really alleviates a lot of the stress on R.J. Cole.
As Shaka Smart, first-year Marquette head coach, told us that they are trying to find a way to make R.J. Cole less efficient in this game. That was one of his keys. Cole has it in his hands, one of the top scorers in the conference. Whaley.
And that's a good start. I would say you start the second half trying to make Adama Sanogo less efficient. You make someone else beat you, even if that is R.J. Cole.
And Sanogo 14 and 6 in the first half, and he with a monster block on Kolek.
And how about that? Blocks it, keeps it in bounds, and then he runs it down himself. You don't see that happen with a lot of bigs.
One of the best shot blocking teams in the country. This is thrown away. Finds Morcell. Outlet to Lewis. Lewis with a two-hand flush. His second tonight.
That's how you chip away at it. Do it with your defense. You know, on the offensive end, Tyler Kolek, he's so good at drawing guys in. He's got to be careful when he gets in there with Sanogo that he's not off balance. I don't mind him attacking him. You just have to be on balance and ready to square him up in the chest when you take that ball inside.
Shot clock winding down. Martin fading. Sanogo aboard but stripped, and Morcell comes up with it.
Yeah, that's not UConn's game, the mid-range area, especially for Tyrese Martin. He's a standstill three-point shooter, or a guy who runs and gets you like a direct line, a straight line guy. That falling away 17-footer, that's a low percentage shot. This is a great look ahead. Morcell to Lewis. Maybe give them a little bit of energy. A little bit of pep in their step, which I thought they were a step slow in that first half.
Foul went on Sanogo, just his first. Now Lewis lost it. Jackson picks it up. Jackson flying with the two-hand hammer.
Well, that's a human highlight reel right there. He gets in transition. Andre Jackson, phenomenal athlete, one of the best in the entire nation.
Kolek gives it up to Queth, can't handle it, and it's turned over. To Sanogo. And Queth, a foul from behind.
Wow, look at that pass from Whaley falling out of bounds. Everything's going their way when that happens, but watch this. I mean, he probably could have taken off from the Big East logo. Trying to punish the rim. Such a wonderful athlete. Bench is loving it.
Pretty subdued Coach Hurley based on what we've seen in the first half. What do you say? I mean, well, he was made for 60%. TV in that first half.
Well, you know, he said something on one of the off days about his team. He said, you know, we have to play with emotion, but not be emotional. And I totally get that as a guy who played with a ton of emotion and played emotional a lot as well. You know, and I think sometimes when you get too emotional, you forget your characteristics of what makes you successful. But you can't walk around with bad body language and flat. And UConn came out with that emotion in this game.
Sanogo now leading all scorers, 15 points. Prosper hanging tough. He's got a dozen.
Aaron, that's a lot of work, though. You see what UConn's doing on Prosper. They're saying, everyone stay home. We're not helping. We're not digging back. Everyone stay home. You got to make him beat us one-on-one. It was a tremendous shot.
Whaley almost lost it. Sanogo bumping Quett, and Quett with the block. One of the best shot blockers in the conference. Morcell gives it up to Lewis. Lewis, the bunny.
How about the 2-foot jump stop by Lewis and the under the basket with the left hand? That's how you, if you get contact, you can finish stronger. But what an awesome catch and finish, and defense at the other end by Quett.
Quett almost knocks this free, but it turns out to be an easy deuce for Sanogo.
Could be Quett's toughest challenge all season long. I know they played once before, but it's about making those adjustments. Sanogo is a load downstairs.
Prosper left hand gets upended. That's a hard tumble. He'll shoot two.
And this is how you're at an advantage. If there's no help, Shaka Smart says, you know what, we believe in Omax Prosper and get out of his way. If they're going to stay home, everyone's going to stay home on their man defensively. You got to put that ball on the floor and get to the rim. Good read.
Tyler Pauly checks in. Whaley to the bench. Prosper, an 80% free throw shooter, gets them both. He has 14 points.
I would have loved to be in that locker room at halftime listening to what Shaka Smart was telling his guys, because that first half was poverty amid plenty for sure. Great shooting by UConn, and important for them to keep that same focus, that same energy this second half.
Ball is loose, looking for Sanogo, and Prosper comes up with it.
It's a little crowded in there, Aaron. That's all that was.
Kolek, no foul called. He's banged up. He's holding his hand as Jackson brings it across for UConn. Cole spots up from the wing, and it's not even close. Martin saves it to Sanogo, and he's fouled by Quett. We've got a timeout on the floor from Hartford. Number 24, UConn. Two free throws for Sanogo.
And how about the Marquette defense trying to scramble there? Andre Jackson, one of those guys, heads up play inside to Sanogo. And this isn't a game where, if you're Marquette, hoping that there's a regression to the mean, and UConn comes back down to earth from what they did in the first half from the field, you have to force your will if you're Marquette defensively and get to your spots to help them get back to level.
Lewis onto the block, puts it up. Another board for Sanogo. He's nearing a double-double. Under 10 to shoot. Ball in the hands of R.J. Cole. Jackson battling down, fading away. And Morcell rips down the rebound.
That's what you need if you're Marquette. You can't just rely on your bigs and your forwards to rebound. You got to get your guards in there.
Transition three. Now back and forth they go. Somebody trying to find a bucket these last couple of trips. Morcell will find it.
It's a beautiful pull-up, only his 6th point. He's another guy that's probably going to have to get it going. Lewis, 4 for 11. Morcell, 2 of 7. Remember, he did not play in that first meeting in December against UConn. Very important for them defensively because he can guard a couple of different guys at 6'5", but on the offensive end, he's got to continue to look for this. That's a nice ease into your shot, balance, and pull up in transition. You need more of those.
It's only a 6-point game. Backdoor. Watch out. He lost it on the dunk. Sanogo gonna hold on. Elliott. Wow. Oh, the lead is cut to 3. Elliott with another big bucket.
That's a good timeout. UConn's got to talk about it. Marquette not going anywhere. UConn trying to keep their foot on the gas. And this was a heads-up play by the defense. Get out of the way. You don't want to be made. Always said this. I believe that deflections should be on a stat sheet. They're just as important as an offensive rebound, an assist, and Shaka Smart believes it as well.
Now 10
DBG.
Second half fast break points. Courtesy of those deflections. He's got to get an ice pack on that shoulder after the game. Maybe on both. Sanogo back to the basket, trying to pivot his way to the rim.
Look at that D.
Tied up a jump ball, and the possession arrow favors Marquette. And Morcell is always near that ball.
And what's awesome is he grabs it, doesn't worry about fouling. He's yelling at the ref, jump ball, jump ball. Take a look at him. So he cuts short on his man, and now he starts to look at the ref. That's a jump ball. That's a smart defensive player right there, one of the best in the country.
And Morcell fouled. That's on Cole, his second.
And look, there's a lot of time, but you can feel the momentum shifting a little bit. Marquette has cut into the lead. Their swagger has changed. UConn's body language has changed a little bit. And Marquette's has also changed for the better. Chest is out. Feeling like they can do some damage here.
Deflected out of bounds. Still Marquette ball. Morcell pulls up off the heel. And Elliott with the bump, the block. First foul on Greg Elliott.
Wow.
Spark off the bench.
Wow. Listen, I know we get to take a look at it a couple of times, but I don't know. You get square. I still think that's a subjective call. That's tough. I thought he was in good position there, Aaron.
Hawkins, a couple of triples in the first half. Some big buckets for the freshman. Cole penetrates. Shot clock, just seconds left. Jackson, he doesn't get it off in time. I say he does. That's a kick. Call it kick. It is a kick. And it's Marquette ball.
So this is what I love about good defensive teams is when you get a stop, the possession is not finished. The defensive possession is not finished until you come up with the basketball. A lot of teams think, hey, they missed it. They took a bad shot. Defense is over. No, you got to pay it off. Finish off the possession by getting on the floor and going down and getting that ball.
UConn with a scoring drought of over 3 minutes. And they couldn't go more than 30 seconds between buckets, it felt like, during certain stretches in that first half.
It's where you have to run your stuff if you're Marquette. Nothing silly. No hero basketball.
Lewis gives it up. Iguodala, hard foul.
Beautiful.
Jackson needing some help up from the floor.
To have emotion, you know, that was what I loved most about my college coach, Jim Calhoun, is you knew exactly where you stood with him. And he gave you that emotion, and you fed off of that. It was fuel for us, and maybe you didn't like some of the words he said, but you understood where it was coming from, and it's all about care and wanting for you to do the best as a player, and then obviously ultimately win.
Iguodala gets both. Of course, Dan's brother Bobby Hurley, the head man at Arizona State. They recently had a thrilling triple overtime win at home against UCLA. 1-point game.
It's a good action offensively. Got to get the ball in the right guy's hand, though. Late clock. There he is.
And Whaley was just untouched for the offensive rebound, and then a foul.
Well, that was a great job finding R.J. Cole. If he wasn't handling the ball, you find him at the end of the shot clock. But you're so right, Aaron. That was one of the issues that we had spoken with Shaka Smart about earlier today. You know, what do you have to do to get your guys to a good point in this game? And that's what he said. You know, you have to team rebound, and that means even if it's not your guy, you have to box him out. Too easy there on the offensive putback.
UConn just dominating the glass. 30-17 in terms of total rebounds. Now they are an elite rebounding squad, one of the very best in the country. Prosper and Morcell checking out for Marquette.
And throw in there 18 fast break points, although at halftime Marquette only had 1, so I'm not sure how trustworthy the stats are for fast break points, but that was another issue that Shaka Smart said they have to figure out. Listen, transition D and on the glass, and that's what got them into that big hole, but they're back in this game only down 3 right now, Marquette.
Well, Elliott regained the dribble after and makes nothing out of that trip. Picked off by Cam Jones. Lewis gets it ahead, and Andre Jackson comes flying in for the block.
Well, this is the lineup where Marquette is going to have to find those seams, and they thought they took advantage of some transition. You go off that wrong foot, Andre Jackson is not having it. He gets a full head of steam. But without Cole on the floor, Sanogo, you'd think there were some openings, but UConn's defense holding up. Great block inside.
This time Whaley, that's the 5th block for the Huskies. Second best shot blocking team of the country. Long floater there for Jackson.
And Aaron, I don't think we'll see Sanogo and Cole on the bench for very much longer. This is not one of those times where Danny Hurley can leave them out.
After the Elliott miss, a foul underneath. That's Iguodala. That's his 3rd.
Yeah.
And here is Sanogo. 46 in the first half, just 9 since halftime, about midway through the first half. Turned over. Jones, a deadly three-point shooter. He's knocked one down.
Yeah, Aaron, they're yet to pay off these turnovers.
Lewis backing down on Whaley. Elliott. He's missed his last 2 now. Hawkins rattles out. Martin the offensive rebound and a foul on the putback.
Well, that play started at the other end when Justin Lewis stood up in the paint to try to get in front of Andre Jackson. He was already behind the play, and then it just continued on the offensive glass for UConn. You have to run back. You can't try to stand up against the guy and get a deflection that far away from the basket. You got to run back, get yourself in the paint, and now he's complaining to the ref, but that's on Justin Lewis. You got to run back, sprint back.
That's 3 now on Lewis. The Big East's 4th leading scorer and 3rd leading rebounder. 2 shots for Martin. He's in double figures. Joplin.
Lewis can't be upset with anybody but himself, Aaron.
Well, he'll take a breather. Makes both to stretch the lead to 5. Jones gets it back from the wing. No foul. He's begging for one. And now the official calls. Let's see, underneath, but also
Jackson
looks like an
stepped out of
official's calling
bounds.
my time.
I think it's Marquette's ball. Andre Jackson jumps and watch his right foot. He steps out of bounds, but Marquette thinks it's going. It's UConn's ball.
You can see Prosper was right there. He saw the whole thing, and now Marquette is being informed that they have to inbounds it. Also, there's been a flop warning assessed.
So there's a confusion.
That was on the Cam Jones triple. Prosper backing down on Whaley.
Wow, no call. That's why you're taught to jump into the contact. Anytime you get contact, you fall away. Refs aren't going to call it.
Boy, that's the 4th on Iguodaro. Just reaching over to try to deflect that entry pass.
And
so he had
you've done your job. Yeah, you've done your job. If Sanogo is catching the ball close to the Big East logo or between the lower circle there and the Big East logo, then you've done your job. You don't need to go for the reach over the back. He's too strong. His arms are too long. He's too wide for you to get that ball. So just stay behind and hope you get some help. Can't do your team any help on the bench.
Greg Elliott needing some attention down the tunnel. Hopefully everything is all right with him. Sanogo now with 20 points and 9 boards. Like 21 points. And here comes Elliott back onto the bench.
It's an important possession for Marquette. Down 7, really haven't gotten anything going. Created some turnovers. They need a basket bad.
Marcel gets fouled as he was headed towards the paint. That's the 2nd on Andre Jackson.
Look, if you're watching this game in a comfy chair, get even more comfortable, because there are going to be a lot of fouls down the stretch. Both teams very aggressive. Both coaches understand that the refs, they're going to blow that whistle if there's some contact inside. There's another one. So get comfortable, get some popcorn.
That's the third on R.J. Cole.
Name of the game, who can get to the bonus first?
Marcel drives, pulls up. Barely grazes iron. And Sanogo able to track it down. He fights off Kirk Wright. Sanogo acted like he was going to give it up to Cole, and then like a freight train penetrates but throws it away.
And this isn't the time of the game to try to become a player that you're not. That's not Sanogo's game. I like the idea. You got to be more under control. Maybe a 2-foot jump stop, and then you can make that pass. But that big on the run, that pass, no good.
Now, Cam Jones, nearly 3/4 of his shots come from behind the arc. That time he drives and misses. Martin.
Where he's at his best, in transition, puts that head down, dares you to get in his way.
Marcel baseline on Whaley, foul. Third on Whaley. Now Martin grabbing that left wrist.
To pull pressure off of yourself, you put it on the official, and you do that by getting to the paint.
Well, foul trouble for both sides. Iguodala with 4. Marcel, who is one of the best free throw shooters in the conference at 83%, misses the front end.
Wow.
Missed 3 free throws tonight. He's 1 for 4.
And just keep those in mind. In games like this, every free throw is so valuable.
You were saying something about fouls, Donnie.
I've been in a few of these in my time, and you just feel it. You know what's coming. You understand the makeup of both teams. You understand what's on the line. Again, Connecticut needing a quality win. They have not beaten a team in Big East play that was above 500. And this would be obviously one of those.
That's the 3rd foul on Omax Prosper for Marquette. Meanwhile, Whaley, all 3 of his points tonight have come from the line. Well, on one end, Marquette misses both. On the other, UConn gets both. And all of a sudden, a 10-0 run over the last 4 minutes for UConn. Lewis left open.
Wow.
And he bags it.
That's huge. Not just for the score, but for Lewis. Really trying to get himself going. 5 of 12.
Now Sanogo has a severe advantage here, but he throws it away, throws it right to Prosper. Elliott slams on the brakes. Good pass. Oh, what a flush! Justin Lewis.
And just like that, Justin Lewis has perked up some ears. And more importantly, of his teammates, and quieted the XL Center a little bit.
It's his 3rd dunk tonight. Sanogo pivoting, and it falls short. Elliott gets the rebound, and they push it across. Marcel. Morcell for three. Marries. They're not going away. UConn calls a timeout. It's back to a 3-point game.
How about Justin Lewis? One of the most improved players. Well, they've been doing the job. Look at that, a minute 19, 8-0 run. They've been doing all the things they're supposed to on the defensive end. They just haven't been able to pay it off on the other end. And in the last minute and 20, they have.
Whaley with two hands.
Great answer. Awesome answer out of a timeout. Give it to R.J. Cole, let him go to work, and Whaley finishing downstairs.
Now, multiple times in the second half, Marquette has been able to bring themselves within three, but UConn's always had an answer. Oh, the crowd wanted to travel. Lewis instead is fouled. And he's slow to get up.
I'm not sure he didn't step on someone's foot. He wanted maybe a little off balance, but it looked like his leg buckled to me. I think he was out of control. That left knee buckled. Take a look. Left knee right there goes back, almost hyperextending. I don't think that was a foul. I think it didn't look right, but I disagree with that foul call.
Two shots here for Lewis. He's got 10 now in the second half. He had a quiet first half. Averaging nearly 17 a contest. And he misses the second.
Free throw shooting, so important. Young people out there, you have to make free throws.
Well, if they had made all their last 4 free throws, this game would be tied right now.
Yeah.
Sanogo with the right hand.
It's just too late. You let him catch it that low. And Marquette has shown they're not really coming with any help.
Under 5 minutes to play. UConn back to a 6-point lead. Morcell fading short, and Sanogo well past a double-double at this point. 23 points, 14 boards.
Good, nice possession right here for UConn to try to really temper what Marquette has done the last few minutes.
Martin for three. Second half, back to a 70-61 advantage.
Well, it's the time of the game for Marquette. That needs to get an easy bucket. Again, continue to be aggressive, try to score if possible with the clock stop, meaning making a couple of free throws. And for UConn, look, take some air out of that ball. You get that thing back, use as much clock as you want.
Prosper, shot clock winding down. He spins, gets stripped, saves it. And Morcell's got to put it up. He heaves, and it's off the heel. Lewis, an offensive board, but a foul.
And that was very good defense by UConn until the chase down. And sometimes when things start to get a little helter-skelter, they're scattered at the end, you always have to turn up your communication. That ball goes up, turn and point. I got him, you get him, and then you put a body on him. But this is exactly what Marquette needs. Chance to score with that clock stopped.
Fourth foul on Whaley. 10th straight game in double figures now for Lewis.
Wow.
And he misses. Boy, these free throws have been a major problem over the last 10 minutes or so. Foul just past midcourt. That's the first on Morcell.
and the wrong guy you want to send to the line if you're Marquette.
Yeah, Cole, an 89% free throw shooter, third best in the Big East. And the double bonus, 2 shots coming. UConn has been nearly perfect from the line tonight. They've missed just once. They're 14 of 15. Bullock checks back in.
And if you're Marquette, you got to kind of speed it up a little bit. You know, you might not be able to get to the third side, meaning back and forth. You got to go. Yeah.
Elliott is fouled. Third on Andre Jackson.
And we've seen some good shooters in the double bonus. Yeah, Aaron, we've seen some good shooters from Marquette. Miss free throws, but again, another guy that you'd like at the foul line if you're Marquette.
And make it the 4th foul on Jackson. Elliott, an 83% free throw shooter. He's got 14 points tonight as Prosper checks back in. And Kolek returns to the bench. He makes both. Lead cut back to single digits. Cole jump stop, and Jackson will circle it back out. And work the clock.
It's a great job breaking the press. Don't have to be too aggressive. Andre Jackson, terrific decision bringing it back out.
Cole driving. Lewis, the outlet. Elliott misses, but it is cleaned up. Prosper was right there. He's had himself a nice night. He got 16 points.
I'd say if you're UConn, use as much clock as you want. Use it all. Don't allow Marquette to come down to get another possession.
Oh, the deflection out of bounds, but Iguodaro, that's his 5th foul.
He's just late trailing the play. And again, Sanogo's been a tough guard all night long. He beat you to the spot. If he's even with you, it's hard to get around him and catch up. You'll see it here, left side of your screen, top of your screen. Just grabbed him with the right hand on the hip, and that's a good call by John Gaffney on that baseline.
Sanogo earlier this year had a career best 30 points versus Auburn. As we see the foul trouble on both sides. Iguodaro now done for the day. Huskies with Jackson and Whaley both 1 foul away from fouling out. A rare missed free throw tonight for the Huskies. In fact, just his 2nd miss.
Hey, you talk about that.
Oh, the tap back is good by Elliott.
That 30-point game Sanogo had, that was against the now #1 Auburn team. That was a 115-109-2 overtime game.
That remains Auburn's only loss. Under 2 minutes now. Martin bottles his miss again and puts it back.
Work.
Woo! And they get it back. Oh, what a deflating feeling for Marquette. And what tremendous hustle by Tyrese Martin and UConn. Cole spin cycle. And Jackson recovers. Now Whaley wisely retains it rather, and they've had 3 possessions in this one trip.
And that's the way you finish off a game, to your strength, offensive rebounding.
Sanogo keeps it alive, and it goes to Cole. What a back-breaking last 45 to 60 seconds for Marquette. Shot clock, which is seconds remaining. They have to put it up now. Jackson fouled, and he'll shoot 2.
I mean, how about Marquette understanding what they had to do to win this game? UConn as well, and really UConn, they did it. They offensive rebounded, did a wonderful job of sending everyone to the glass. 45 to 27 on the glass. I mean, this is what makes UConn so special. 14 offensive rebounds, and they just keep coming at you and coming at you with that size and strength. And if you haven't paid much attention to UConn and you've just been kind of on the outskirts, you hear R.J. Cole and Adama Sanogo. You know, probably my favorite player on this team is a guy that is their heart and soul, and that's Tyrese Martin. He only came up with 18 points and 15 rebounds tonight.
Incredible stat line. Keep in mind, Martin scored 25 points in the earlier meeting against Marquette as Jackson hits the second.
Well, Martin's just physical, got some athleticism to go along with it, and this is a great matchup for him twice now. It really does make UConn go whenever they get into a little funk. Aaron, he's their heart and soul, pulls them right out. Or is not having a night. You got other guys around you that step up and kind of do the dirty work and lift you up and try to help you win. And that's what Martin and Sanogo did tonight.
Pauly gets fouled by Elliott. Now Pauly, a tremendous free throw shooter, so put on the floor in these final seconds for this very situation.
And if you're Marquette, nothing to hang your head about. Listen, you're still a very good team, obviously so well coached, and you take these games and you learn from them. You realize that UConn got off to a start that was to their strength, and you just couldn't stop them. You know, you're just going to have to find a way to better adjust. Again, just because, you know, Shaka Smart's team has gone on, they've won 8 out of 9, and, you know, drop one, they're going to drop one tonight, but they put together something special there, and they're going to continue to get better and better and keep building.
Pauly gets both.
In a very short time, Aaron.
Lewis knocks down the triple. And timeout called. So just under 27 seconds remaining, and the lead cut to 6.
Champagne's really playing well. Had a great game against Georgetown. Seton Hall is another team that's trying to figure out life with Bryce Aiken hurt. So those are no walks in the park either. This is just what major conference basketball is all about. And the Big East, you talked about it, multiple teams ranked, multiple teams projected to get to the NCAA tournament. That's what conference play in the Big East is all about.
You're right. They added 0.3 of a second after that last visit to the scorer's table. Also, that was a 3 from Lewis, not a 2. Jackson knocks down the first free throw. Well, we began this broadcast tonight, Donnie, talking about how important of a game this was for both sides, but especially so for UConn.
Yeah, this is a quality win. This is what you needed to beat a ranked opponent. You know, listen, UConn they've beaten the teams you're supposed to beat. And now this is a team that, you know, you're just not so sure because you match up really well against them. And when I say teams you're supposed to beat, it's teams that are towards the bottom of your conference. Now, any team can win.
Dave's the UConn. Cole sprints it across and will dribble it out. Number 24 UConn snaps a 2-game losing skid, and they take down number 18 Marquette. 80-72 the final score.
I would say one of the most complete games I've seen UConn play all season long, Aaron. They got to be proud of